Hi, I'm Axela, and in the last 10 years, I've worked with multiple business owners from various niches. And one thing that I've noticed that gets repeated as a pattern is that wonderful, experienced people create content that is packed with value, is real, gets a lot of comments. This is so good, this is so inspirational, and yet their audiences don't buy. What a lot of business owners don't think of when they create content is the fact that as humans, the way we make decisions is on running two parts of our brain. We have two systems running simultaneously. The first is our emotional brain. It's ancient, it's fast, and it runs on feeling, not logic. The second is the rational brain. It's where logic runs. It justifies, it assesses evidence, and it's way slower than the first one. Here's the important bit. People buy based on emotion and then justify it with logic. One huge reason why this happens is it's because your content is speaking to the wrong part of your audience's brain. And here's how to fix that. So when you open your content with, let's say, here's 5 tips how to grow your audience, the logical brain says, okay, noted. But they don't take action because nothing happens on an emotional level. When your content opens with, you're not inconsistent, you're emotionally overloaded, and here is what your brain needs, the limbic brain lights up, and the person who's reading it feels, that's interesting. This person actually understands me. So that's the difference between content that's interesting and the one that actually converts. Now, I want to tell you about something that I call a compliment trap. This is what happens when your audience genuinely likes your content. They share it, they engage, they comment, but they don't buy. So your content is good, it brings value, and they appreciate it, but they don't buy at the end. And what I've seen some entrepreneurs do is think, okay, my content is working, but perhaps my offer isn't landing. But here's what's happening underneath. When content is educational, it triggers appreciation. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't activate readiness to buy. Appreciation says, wow, this is actually helpful. Great. I'm going to go and figure the rest out myself. Whereas readiness brings something completely different. It makes someone think, whoa, I really need this. I can imagine myself getting help from this person and moving on to the next level faster and without so many problems that I've already experienced. The difference isn't the quality of your content, it's a sequence. Emotional connection needs to come before logic and education. When you lead with logic, what happens is people take the information and leave because the feeling that they get is, I'm actually satisfied, I can go and implement it myself. But in order for people to buy, they need to feel the need inside them. Because when you're satisfied, when you're full, you don't really buy, you just move on. But when there is a need, especially emotionally speaking, people feel like they need to fulfill that need. So what's the alternative to what most people do? It's something what I call emotion logic bridge. And it works because it mirrors the way humans naturally make decisions. It has 4 stages that need to happen in a very specific order. Stage 1 is emotional resonance or connection. You have to make them feel seen before you educate. So your opening line needs to relate to a real internal state that they are experiencing. And thus, in other words, not here's what I'm going to teach you, but I know why it feels so hard. Stage 2 is emotional safety. This can look like you saying, it's not your fault. You have been doing the right thing, just in wrong order. This itself has the power to dissolve resistance. Stage 3 is logical clarity. Now, once you've done the emotional connection, only now you can present the information. And the reason why is because their brain is simply more open. They feel, okay, you get me. Tell me now. Their limbic system stood down, so they are ready for you to tell them what to do next. Stage 4 is identity alignment. This is where you're showing them who they are becoming in the end when they integrate your teaching. So you don't tell them, go take my teachings and implement this. What you're saying is, when you implement this framework and you operate from this understanding, Here is who you're becoming. That's the bridge. Emotion first, safety second, logic third, and identity fourth. Start implementing this framework consistently. Your audience stops complimenting you and starts investing. Now, let's get into a real life examples. Here is how logic-based content could look like. The 3 pillars of high converting offer are clarity, specificity, and trust. If you frame it like this, here's what happens with the brain. It reads the information, files it as useful or helpful, and then moves on. Now, here's the same idea, and I'll take it through the emotion logic bridge. If your offer isn't converting yet, it's not because it's bad. It's because your audience's brain doesn't feel safe to say yes yet. Here's how safe looks like and how to create it in your content. So as you can see, it's completely different psychological experience. And that's the shift. And once you see it and learn how to create with the 4 stages in mind, you can't unsee it, and it becomes very easy to follow that framework. If you're ready to learn more about this and 2 other frameworks, I'm going to be releasing my masterclass soon. If you want to be one of the first to get access to it, sign up through the link below. And if you want to go even deeper and understand the psychology of why and how people buy, stick around. In one of my next videos, I'm going to talk about internal shift sequence, which represents 7 stages that every buyer goes through before they say yes. See you then.